All right, guys, I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. So I have not really been in the garage in the last 4 days. 4 days. The last thing you guys should have seen was us putting the B16 together, and was hoping to get it entirely ready so we can put it back into the car. Unfortunately, the clutch that we got is not the right spline clutch. B series have a big spline, small spline setup, and the clutch that we got was used, but we had the impression based off the Facebook Marketplace post that it came out of a DC Integra, and it turns out the clutch, the ACT 6 puck, is a small spline and it does not fit the CRV transmission. So I was not able to get the transmission connected to the long block to put into the car. And realistically, I've already been on this like little downfall with myself and with the YouTube channel. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys get more of the updated gist of everything going on before YouTube sees it, right? So the YouTube channel, I know it's not just me, but it's taken a pretty big hit. And in the last couple of months, the YouTube channel has not been doing well. If you guys know, I do YouTube full time. This is my gig. This is what I do. I love to share videos and adventures with you guys. And in the last couple of months, the channel has been falling down into the grays pretty deep, right? Typically, when it falls down to the gray, it's not looking good for us. So I've been kind of stuck down in the grays for a little while, and I thought, you know, bringing on different cars was going to help the channel. In a sense, it did. The DC Integra did well. The EK did okay. The CRV did okay, but it just being okay really put me down in the grays, and it's actually hurting the channel more than anything. So I know what I need to do to like bring up the algorithm, or maybe it's just YouTube algorithm that's really messing with everybody's channel, not just mine. I'm not the only one taking an impact here, but I just right now I cannot really bring in other stuff. I can't. LS swaps, muscle cars, I would love to do something like that. A truck build, cool. I mean, I just can't afford that. S14, they're just too expensive these days. And granted, with the amount of cars and other cars that I have here on the driveway, I don't have space for another car. And I know some of the recipes that could help my channel, like Project Blueberry, did freaking amazing on the channel. Unfortunately, I sold it and I regretted it right afterward. But Project Blueberry left, and that was the reason why I was able to build my blue all-wheel drive car. So sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But anyways, seeing the analytics drop pretty deep on the YouTube channel these last couple of months has really chipped away at my motivation and my drive to be here in the garage, to do work, to film. I think the biggest thing is film. Like, I still get work done. I still do work. I still can do work, but I'm just losing my drive to film a lot of this stuff for you guys. I spend hours and hours. Again, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know I stay up late. I'm like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I'll be up at like 10 o'clock doing this shit all over again. And I spend a lot of time doing all the filming, the talking, the wrenching, to show you guys the whole ordeal, whatever goes on in this driveway. Hours and hours of editing to get it out on time for it to not do really well. The channel was great years before the channel got terminated. If you guys are barely coming on board now, the channel got terminated twice because I did get hacked, and YouTube terminated me twice, which really messed up the whole entire channel. And I've been grinding really hard to get it back up to par, and it did with Project Blueberry. And then it just kind of, you know, plateaued a little bit, and it kind of went back up, and now it's just we're down here. And it sucks to say, man, because this is literally like my livelihood. This is literally what I do to be able to continue doing this for you guys, man. But when the you know, numbers don't do well, I don't do well, and everybody may take it a little differently, it's hitting me pretty hard. So in the last couple of days, since the clutch ordeal, the engine's still sitting here without the transmission attached to it. We have a clutch on the way. In 2 days it should show up. The EP3 transmission, the shim, that's another thing. So I calculated the shims and everything I need to buy, seals, bearings, whatever, and I literally got in contact with the company in SoCal, and they said, we physically have this item in stock. Cool. So I placed the orders, everything that they said they had in stock, and then they sent me an email saying that, oh, we're waiting for the parts to arrive to us, and then we'll ship it out to you. The EP3 transmission should have been done, sealed, ready to go last week. but the parts just shipped out yesterday and it's not going to show up till next week, which is like another setback. And you know, there's a lot of things that I can do, sure, you know, pull the motor out of that car, take the clutch, transmission, put it on this engine, put that into this car, take this thing apart, put everything in there, in here, along with the EP3 transmission, which is not assembled. Like, there's so many things that I can do, but everything goes in order here. I only got one spot in the driveway to work on, the CRVs here, and I don't like cutting lines, jumping lines. I don't like trying to get ahead of myself, and obviously I don't want to work, you know, off the driveway. It's going to be sun blazing over there. Don't want to do that. Same over here on the grass. But like, I've just I don't know, I've just kind of been lost of motivation, if I'm being dead ass honest with you guys. And I don't know, I've just kind of this last couple of days been off the camera, you know. I haven't even, if you guys kind of put this on the timeline, I have not uploaded this week. This week, this is very unusual to not look at this guy, he's chilling. You chilling, bud? Yeah, he's tired of it too. But I don't usually miss consecutive video drops, but the lack of motivation, if I'm being honest with you guys, have not really driven me to do much, right? But I will say though, I have been out here in the garage, like not working on cars, just been cleaning stuff, throwing things away, moving things around, organizing a few stuff, garage open, garage closed, and have been working on the website as well too. A lot of people don't even know this. The website has been up for like months. I just never dropped the link, and I've maxed out the amount of product I can put on there, and I need twice the space to be able to put more merch on it. So I gotta upgrade the account to be able to put more product, and that's kind of where I just stopped it. I'm like, I'll deal with the website later. Yeah, that's just kind of where I've been at, man. Being very transparent with you guys, man. Content creating is not as easy as you guys think. And because I don't like jumping around, it really makes it harder for me to not, you know, like be on top of my game. So this is where we're at. But today I spoke to the homies yesterday, today. Thank you guys for, like, you know, checking up on me. And I came out here in the garage. It's literally 4:30 right now. I just got into the garage and I want to do something. So I was sitting inside while I was eating some Oreo, and I was watching PFI Speed, where they did a Fast and Furious skit. So I was watching that and I looked over and I was like, oh, I forgot the fuel line stuff showed up for the CRV. So we got -6 lines and some fittings. Hopefully we have everything we need. We got a filter, we got a regulator. Like, you know what, let's try to do something today. Let's try to build some motivation back up. So while the engine's out of the car, I think this is the best time to route the lines and the filter, just so that we can be in the engine bay, then to work around and then take manifolds. So let me kind of assess everything real quick, all the fittings, make sure we have everything to do so, and we're gonna work on the CRV again today. Let's get to it. Before we get started, I want to show you guys the parts list here. You guys remember we use a brand on Amazon called Scently, and this right here is very cheap, very affordable. I think this was under 60 bucks. It is -6 10 feet PTFE lines, and it comes with a bunch of fittings, everything you need to build whatever line you need. And they also come in 20 feet, I believe, like 3 feet. This one's 10. And I want to show you guys what's all that's inside. We have the wrench for the fittings. We have 90, I believe there's 2 90s, 2 45s, 2 straights, and a clamp right there in the bottom corner. And then right here, 10 feet of PTFE line. These are nylon braided. Comes with gloves, although you don't need it. And oh, actually, you know what, it comes with 2 of these clamps. Stuck earlier when I picked it up. And this is literally a complete line kit. We're going to be using this to replace just the feed line and not the return line. Right here we have a VMS Racing fuel filter. This is like the OEM style, and that's the part number if you guys want to screenshot it. Right, this is a billet unit with stainless steel filters. Now Eric ran this in his B20 VTEC EK hatch years ago with no problem. I've actually ran one smaller than this and still made over 300 plus horsepower. So this right here is going to work perfectly fine for the setup, and again, it keeps it in the factory location. This right here is the filter. It says it's sprayable, you can clean it inside and out, but it's not detachable, removable as far as I've tried. But it comes with the top and bottom threaded for AN fitting if you wanted to, but if you buy it with the fuel pressure gauge, it comes with a fitting that already attaches to the top for your factory banjo line. And for right now, we're going to keep it with the factory banjo line because this right here has a hole in the top for this fitting to run a gauge. And because this car doesn't have an aftermarket fuel pressure regulator, we want to monitor our fuel pump to make sure the fuel pump is keeping up at all times. So this is the filter we're going to use. This right here is, I believe, 5/16. Yeah, it's 5/16 tube adapter. We're going to be converting the rear fuel pump hanger hardline to -6 using the tube adapter, so that way we can run AN line from the tank all the way to the front. This one right here is -6 to, I think, M14 1x25. I'll put it on screen because I don't remember, but this right here is for the bottom of the filter, so we can run an AN line to that. And then this one's just an extra because it comes in two. So this is all the stuff that we're going to be using for the setup, the fittings and everything. Evo Energy from Amazon, lines from Amazon, VMS filter. Let's get to installing all of this into the car. In case you didn't remember, the CRV fuel pump is rear seat behind the driver underneath this panel. The line that we need to modify is the bigger one, which is this guy, and typically the feed is larger than the return. This one is much tinier, and we're gonna pop this off to see if we can try to get the fitting on, because this is really tight against the frame. So I want to show you guys something I just found out right now. I forgot that the CRV and some of the Civics have a like push lock style fitting where it's not a regular hose like this or a banjo like the EF, right? And it uses this like push lock hose that has this little clip that clips into the fitting, and then there's O-ring inside that helps seal when fuel comes out and pressurize the line. These little hooks keep the line from popping off, right? So I was like, all right, well, looks like I'm gonna have to pull the hat off to do the tube adapter, which is this guy here, right? I would have to cut past this, or I might even get away with slipping it right over this, right? And just convert this with the tube adapter to go -6. And then I remembered in my AN box, I have this fitting that I bought a very long time ago and just didn't really have the application to use it. This guy right here. So it's like the OEM style with this little plastic clip, right? And I think this is the more simplified way of converting your hardline to AN if the car applies, right? You got the little lip right there. So I took off this piece to kind of compare it real quick, and it's literally identical. And it just so happened I have it in the right size as well too. So it looks like it's much easier to convert the rear feed line to -6 by just using this quick disconnect -6 conversion. I'm gonna use the blue one because that's what came with this fitting here. I've had this thing like in my box for like 10 years if I'm being honest, and simply enough, I'm not going to remove the factory line. I'm just going to clean it out really well and tuck it away, because again, for whatever reason, if this car got to go back to factory, all the factory stuff is still there. So the plastic clip goes over the hard line, right? You got to make sure it goes over that lip right there, and then slides over like that, clips in. You can see a little clip is tabbed in right there, so this plastic piece is not going to come out anymore. And then this fitting has O-rings on the inside. It's hard for you guys to see, but it has O-rings on the inside, and this pretty much just slips over the hard line, and you just kind of snug it up until it clips into place, just like that. And now it's locked in. When the line gets pressurized, those two little tabs, it's what's going to keep the fitting from pushing forward off the hard line. And now we just converted the feed hard line to -6. Easiest way to do it. In the line kit, I'm going to be using a 45 because I think it's best fitted. A 90 is too sharp, and a straight is pointing it like where we're not wanting it to go. So 45 looks like it's what we're gonna use, right? Kind of points this way. We can go down towards the floor. I don't know if you guys can see the floor right there. So 45 looks like it's gonna work well. I'm gonna go ahead and build this line first. The hose end is already a clean cut, so we're just gonna go off of that. PTFE hose end has 3 pieces: the sleeve, the ferrule, and the AN fitting. Sleeve goes on first before fraying it, and then to get this piece on, we have to fray the stainless and the nylon. I'm gonna use the back end of my razor blade here just to kind of separate the stainless away from the PTFE tube. Once you fray it out like this, you should be able to slip the ferrule onto, and I kind of just like press it up against a table or a wall to kind of get it to be flushed all the way down, right? Once you have that PTFE butted up to the edge of the inside ferrule, you can go ahead and put your fitting on. Bring the sleeve up, thread it, and crank that soldier down. So we have our first fitting installed. I'm gonna go ahead and snake this underneath the car up the gas tank into the fuel pump hanger, and then route this underneath the car all the way up to the front firewall. That 45 was the perfect choice because it literally points straight down right there. And I don't have it tied up into the frame rail yet because I want to build the line entirely before I do. I was gonna put the line inside the factory shield, but there's so many hard lines in there, it'll definitely squeeze or kink this. And PTFE, you can't really bend too much because if you do, you can kink it. So I'm just gonna route it alongside the plastic like so. That's plenty ground clearance, right? So all the way to the front, goes up the subframe right there, and then right here comes up into the engine bay. I'm gonna route it with the factory hardline, and I think I'm gonna leave the hardline here because, again, for whatever reason, the factory hardline is still in place. So I'm gonna route it up to where the filter would be sitting. And I guess before I even modify this, because it looks like when I have to trim maybe a foot off of it, before we modify this, we're gonna install the new billet stainless steel filter. So let's assemble the bottom fitting on the filter before I jump into the engine bay. The fitting that I bought is this guy right here. It's a 14 by 1.5 2-6, and this fitting comes with an O-ring on it, right? This O-ring right here, and a lot of times it fits really well depending on the part you're screwing it into. So if there's a recess for an O-ring, this will mesh up really nicely. When the surface is flat like this, no recess for the O-ring to sit in, all it's gonna do is squish it out. And if you tighten it too much, squishing it out would probably squeeze it out to the point where it doesn't really seal. And honestly, I don't prefer to run it like that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a crush washer on it instead. So the crush washer is pretty much the same thing like we run on this side with the factory banjo fitting, and if you look, pretty much the same, right? And I do have a bunch of them from like old builds. Fuel rail kits comes with a bunch of crush washers. So I'm gonna go ahead and just grab one of these and go ahead and pop off this O-ring. And granted, this is in the engine bay as well too. It gets really hot, especially at turbo setup, and the squeeze out will probably be exposed to heat. Over time, the O-ring will crack. There is a like an oil you can put on the O-ring and kind of make it last longer, but you know, take no chances. Crush washer, just like any washer, has a front and back side, right? So we can go flat side, face down. This just screws right on, and you don't want to over tighten this obviously, so you just crank it down, nice snug tug, and it should seal. And if it doesn't, shoot, we'll just run the O-ring if we have to. That should be plenty. I've stood in a lot of engine bays, man, but the CRV feels tiny for some reason. But anyways, we need to take off the hard line underneath the fuel filter, and it's a, I think it's a 14 mil, and it's easy to take it off when it's still all attached to the bracket, so it has like some sort of leverage. You can take a crescent wrench to hold the filter, and then your 14, and crank it. Alrighty. No fuel came out of it. That's good. Bracket to the firewall, 3 10 mils. Got this hose right here. Pop the clip off. There it is. Alrighty, factory fuel filter. This thing looks old. It's got a gang of rust on here. Bracket right here, 10 mil. The filter has an orientation because of the little stopper right here for the factory banjo, and also has a little tab right there. Right, aftermarket filter doesn't matter because it's completely flat on the top, so it literally just goes right on. This little lip right here sits in that little groove, just like that. Face the VMS out, bracket hooks on, swing it over. Oops, a little tight, got a gap right there. If you use a longer 10 mil bolt, it'll suck it down. There we go. Let's put this thing back on. So the filter is back into place. I bent the hard line out of the way again because I'm keeping it here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and route this line to go up to the filter to kind of mark it out. But I got to make sure I got enough slack down there. I can pull it. It's got kind of tight right here, but I want to make sure we don't have any kinks. So I got to get in and out of the car a couple more times, and then, like I said, you know, mark it all out, and then build this last fitting, pull the line out, clean it through, and then install it. And that right there, guys, is our -6 PTFE line from the fuel pump all the way to the stainless steel billet filter. And as mentioned, we're going to be keeping the factory feed line to the fuel rail. And the cutoff that I cut off from the line here, the excess piece, is actually more than enough to build a PTFE line from here to the fuel rail. But that's going to be at a later point because we don't have the fittings for the factory fuel rail, and also the fitting for this to go to -6, and also because we want to keep a fuel pressure gauge. I'm going to have to find the correct fitting to be able to adapt this into, you know, somewhere along in line with the new, if we do build the feed line to the fuel rail. So let me see, this side is the fuel rail because it has this little tabs right here, and then this one is the filter side. And I noticed that the kit only comes with one crush washer, so that means we're going to have to use one of the factory one, which we have right here. This is a freaking thick ass crush washer. I'm gonna put this on the top end, right? And then the line, this goes on top. And then the factory crush washer on the bottom, like so. I'm not going to fully tighten this down because we're going to have to like position the feed line to get to the fuel rail, so we need a little bit of play. But for right now, we're just going to leave it on here, and then this fitting goes on top. When this gets super snug, you can kind of like, you know, point in whatever direction for you to see the gauge, right? So I'm not going to do all of that right now. I am going to run Teflon on all of these, and then we'll crank everything down once the engine goes into place. But just to give you a rough idea, if I wanted to face forward, I would just kind of crank it down to face it forward, or, you know, whichever position you want it to face, you can adjust it accordingly. I've made this clip about 30,000 times now, man, because coolant kept leaking on me. But anyways, there you guys have it. The factory location fuel filter replacement from VMS is a billet unit with stainless internal for those who are trying to run more than pump gas. Also VMS fuel pressure gauge with the Amazon special Centley -6 line PTFE setup. This entire shebang is super cheap, and I'll be sure to put a grand total and possibly a link in the description below. But this is what we're going to be rocking with in the CRV. Hopefully on E85 the B16 will crack 300, if not more, but we'll be content at 300. Hopefully soon we can start putting everything back into this engine bay and not have this car powered by me. Since I made a mess on the floor with the coolant, one more thing I want to do before we close up for tonight is I want to shoot water through the heater hoses and make sure it's like not clogged, you know what I mean? And somebody commented in the previous video about, you know, why the heater isn't hot. Somebody said, oh, because I punched out the thermostat, or, you know, not having the center of the thermostat in place is the reason why the heater doesn't get hot. Mind you, my wagon, my blue sedan, my KRX does not have a thermostat, and it blows hot ass air through the heater system. I just want to make sure that the heater core isn't clogged, because it wasn't working last time. Set you guys up here in the engine bay real quick. I got to do this fast too because I didn't reformat my memory card and it keeps corrupting. Set it on jet mode. It should piss out this bottom one right here. It is not clogged. That is pissing. Safe to say, that is Gucci potatoes. The garage is closed, guys, and we are wrapped up for tonight. I came out here today to find some sort of motivation to be back in the garage while we wait for parts and just kind of be productive. We did a simple feed line upgrade for the Turbo CRV. Amazon Centley -6 PTFE line kit along with the VMS billet filter with a stainless internal and the VMS fuel pressure gauge. The setup should be Gucci for E85. Granted, back in the days when we all ran E85, we didn't really change anything. We just sent it the way it was. So the setup should be Gucci for ethanol, if not race gas. But if you guys want to convert your, if you have a CRV or any other chassis to PTFE line, I'll be sure to put the line kit in the description below, and the fittings are going to vary based off the car, but I'll be sure to include that as well too, all that we used in today's video. Now, before we wrap it up for tonight, I did go to the PO box a couple of days ago and I picked up 2 packages, and I'm kind of aware of where it came from, and he told me that there should be 3, although we only have 2. This package right here came from the homie Henry out of Arizona, man. Shout out to the P1 fam. Mad love from this guy. The first day I met him back in 2023 or something like that. He's always showed a lot of love. Much appreciated. And he said this is one of 3. I don't know where the other one's at. Probably going to have to go back to the PO box. But anyways, let's dive into this. Cut away from yourself. Not towards yourself, and make sure not towards whatever's inside of here, because I've actually cut stuff in the box before. Alrighty. All right, well, it looks like I got the right box because this one has the note in it. It says, Dana, happy birthday, you legend. Thank you for all the info plus the help you provided to the EF community. Ever since I first found your videos in 2017, golly. Sheesh, 2017, much appreciated, man. I've been hooked. I still hope to get my JDM EF2 and the JDM EF1 together one day. He has a JDM EF1 EF hatchback, and together one day for some sick photos. We're gonna have to plan for like a Honda Meet SoCal collab. You bring the EF1 out, whatever year it may be, I'll bring the EF2 out, find a photographer out there, and we can definitely get some sick photos. God bless you, man. P.S. I hope you can enjoy these small trinkets to show my appreciation. Henry, it says, see the back. Arm and a leg didn't fit in the P.O. box. Inside joke. I'll have to freight ship them along with your bagel sandwiches. Don't forget to cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. Yeah. Anyways, real quick, let's go through here. We have, okay, so there's a couple of items in here. Let's go through this one first. Oh man, this is giant packaging for a shift knob. Hey, much appreciated. I really love weighted shift knobs. I don't know what it is. It kind of helps me feel the shifts. And I had a skunk too, just like this one, and I sold it with one of my cars. Type R style. It should have had the red on the top. We'll just take some crayon, melt it in there, and make it all nice and red again. But a big shout out to the shift knob, because this is definitely one of my favorite knobs, no diddy, to hold. This one right here, red label part. And this is a, oh my God, this is sick, dude. This is sick. I don't know if you guys can see it, but oh my goodness, that goes super hard. Ooh, I'm gonna have to get some royal blue TEs or something. This goes super hard. This color and the wagon battleship gray, you guys know that combo. Hey, much appreciated. Hell yeah. This is sick. Next item in this box right here. Ooh, this one's pretty sick. Laser cut or CNC cut. It says made in the USA, mjtdesigns.com, at mjtdesigns on Instagram. I guess this might be a company that like plasma cuts, laser cuts. Got the Hasport logo on there. You guys know I rock Hasport in all my cars except one or two. But anyways, man, this is pretty cool. Definitely gonna give that a little shout. Screenshot it if you like. And then right here on the bottom, we got a couple of stickers. Again, shout out to the P1 fam. Vegas, Arizona. Mad love to you guys. And this one also is a Project One sticker. So real quick, Henry's Instagram is IG. It's Mr. Fall, F-A-U-L-L. Second package right here came from Flagstaff, Arizona. I don't know if this is corresponding to the 3 packages, but let's dive into this one as well too. The package says Hoffman power weight, wheel weights, grams, ounces. Ooh, curious to see what this is. Oh, okay. The box definitely threw me off, but I know exactly what this is. If you guys remember the JDM EF2, we have a hydro transmission in it, and we are using the Hasport cable actuator on the hydro trans. But on the right-hand drive cars, the clutch cable is much shorter than USDM, and it actually doesn't reach to the mechanism. So if you guys remember, I modified my Hasport bracket to make the right-hand drive clutch cable work. So me and Henry, we kind of talked about it, and he actually sent me his that I'm supposed to be modifying, but because I don't have any more gas in my TIG welding machine, and I most definitely don't want to MIG it, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to send him mine out of my JDM EF2, and then when I find time and have some gas, I'll remodify this one for my car. So this is the arm and leg and the bagel sandwich payment that he's going to pay me in to modify this. And whatever the third package is, I guess we're going to have to find out later and open it in a later video. But anyways, big shout out to Henry. Thank you, and the P1 fams for the mad support. Thank you guys for sending this to the PO box. I'll hopefully send out that bracket soon so you can enjoy the EF1, because I think that's like the last thing you need before you can actually drive the car. But definitely stay posted for the mail heading your way. But we're gonna wrap it up for this video right here, guys. I hope you enjoy a little bit of the progress update on the Turbo CRV. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for the B16 going back into the car hopefully here soon, be sure to hit the subscribe button. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I don't know why I was talking so damn fast, but hopefully you guys understood that, huh?